tomorrow is a holiday, so we don't expect too many people moving around. At the end of the day, we are expecting many heads of state to come to the country and let us give the world the image that Ghana is known for. It is an oasis of peace. It is the example of a functioning democracy in the place. And with our president, who is the best political leader in Africa now, we should put our best foot forward tomorrow and make sure that we usher in His Excellency the President Nana Akufo-Addo to his second term to lead Ghana to prosperity and to a Ghana beyond aid. Congratulations, Honorable, once again, and I wish you the very best. Thank you. God bless you. And that was the Interior Minister speaking to us here at the entry to the Chamber of Parliament. We have indeed very interesting times ahead of us. We have a few hours to go. Now, the Interior Minister was quite clear that what is happening now could be described as forceful takeover of Parliament by the NDC. Because if we look at the life of the 7th Parliament, it's still got some hours to go before it is finally dissolved. But let me speak to the Member of Parliament, a Member of Parliament elect for Ningo Pram Pram here in the Greater Accra region, Samuel George. Sam, congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
And I see you in white celebration mood for your party and indeed your personal self, I guess.
Yes, it's been a hard-fought battle. My first term coming into Parliament as a member of the minority, and my second term coming in, thankfully, as a member of the majority. We've worked hard, and we are confident that we would, as the majority, steer the affairs of the House well.
Some few minutes ago, I saw you in the chamber, busy moving up and down, getting your members in line ahead of what is to come. I spoke to the Interior Minister. Constitutional, according to him, the life of the 7th Parliament has yet to come to an end. At least we have some few hours to go to midnight. Now, I've seen the NDC MPs and MPs elect take over the right side of the Speaker. For him, you want to describe it as forceful takeover. That's how you see it. What went into deciding to occupy the right side of the Speaker?
The Interior Minister has stated his opinion. You cannot begrudge him. He's entitled to his opinion. We hold a different view. The activity today is the dissolution of the 7th and the swearing-in inauguration of the 8th. Right. So you have members of the 7th and the 8th in the chamber. When it comes to time for the dissolution, those who are to take part in the dissolution will take part in the dissolution. When it comes to time for those to swear in, those who are to be sworn in will be sworn in. There's no controversy here. There's no forceful takeover. I mean, if you are supposed to be a member of the majority and you are sitting in the majority space, I don't see what is a forceful takeover.
But the right side usually is for the party with the majority in Parliament. 137, technically nobody has majority. Is that how you see it?
We believe it's 138, 136.
The release from the Electoral Commission, it gives the NDC 137, MP 137, one independent candidate.
Which of the results of the Electoral Commission are you referring to? The Electoral Commission has declared several results. We don't even know which one is valid or not valid. We have asked the Electoral Commission to do a public collation of Teaching Mansell. They failed to do so. We've done our collations. We've won the seat. And so as far as we're concerned, we have 138.
Is that the reason you are on the right side of the Speaker?
Simple arithmetic. 138, 136. 138 is larger.
But your candidate in Teaching Mansell is not in the chamber.
We are the majority party.
With who to make the 138?
I just told you Teaching Mansell.
And I'm saying that candidate is not in the chamber.
Have you gone into the chamber and done all your searches?
That candidate is not in the chamber.
It doesn't matter. People can come subsequently and take their oath. If you don't take your oath today, it doesn't matter. What matters is who won. I mean, when I came in the 7th Parliament, Honorable Katie Hammond, for example, was not present the day we swore the oath. Kennedy Japan was not present when we swore the oath. They subsequently came to swear the oath. Anytime you get into Parliament, you can swear your oath. But bottom line is, we believe and we are confident that in any court of law, it will be established that we have 138 seats.
So what should Ghanaians expect a minute after midnight?
Well, that is going to be in the bosom of the Speaker, who will be dissolving. The Speaker will come in first for the dissolution of the old Parliament, and then the clerk will take over. So it will be in the bosom of the clerk to go through the processes for the election of a new Speaker, and then after that, the swearing in of members of Parliament. We have actually had a conversation in the majority now saying that it's one of the things we think needs to be looked at, the swearing, the constitutional provision that says that no business of the House can be conducted without a Speaker, which is why MP elect a Speaker. You want to look at it legally and realize that there is a legal quagmire there, because the question is, MPs are supposed to elect a speaker, not MP elects. Because at the time we do the election of the speaker, we have not sworn our oath. Exactly. So what is our locus? You get it? So we need to look at, I think it's Article 95 of the Constitution, and have a review of it that would allow for us to have the swearing in of members of parliament, and then subsequent to that, we elect the speaker. But until that is done, we are stuck with the dictates of 95. We'll elect a speaker. Hopefully, the Right Honourable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin as the Speaker of the 8th Parliament, and then after that, he would lead us to swear our oath. And then Honourable Haruna Idrisu, who is the majority leader, will then take us through the processes for the business of the day.
All right. The constitutional impediment that you raise, doesn't the role of the clerk answers that? No,
the clerk is not the Speaker of Parliament.
I'm saying that before the speaker is elected, the clerk has the responsibility of presiding over the house. Doesn't that arrangement answer that constitutional impediment that you raised?
That is not the legal conundrum I raised. The legal conundrum I raised is what is the locus of those who are voting to elect the speaker, not who is conducting the elections.
At that stage, there will be MP elects.
Yes, and I'm saying that it is MPs who should naturally elect their speaker, not MP elects. Not MP elects. So that's the major thing we should look at.
All right, thank you very much, Sam George. We look forward to very interesting times ahead. And then Evans will be here for our listeners and our viewers. Very interesting hours ahead of us. We've still got some few hours to cross into midnight, and then the business of the day will start. But let me speak to Vincent Asafua, who is the MP elect for Old Tafo in the Ashanti region. Congratulations and welcome to Parliament. Some few hours to come, you hold the enviable title as the Honourable Member of Parliament for Old Tafo in the Ashanti region.
Well, thank you so much. I do not think that it's just about the title. It's about the conviction to serve your people, the confidence that has been reposed in us by the good people of Old Tafo constituency. It's what is very much important. We have been brought here to represent the good people of Old Tafo constituency and ensure that the visions, the ambitions of the people of Old Tafo constituency is seen in the bills that will be made in Parliament. There are policy considerations that are supposed to be done in Parliament. It is my sole responsibility to represent the good people of Old Tafo constituency effectively to the extent that they will see maximum representation in Parliament.
You are new. This will be your first time, but already drama is unfolding in the chamber. We still got some hours before the life of the 7th Parliament will constitutionally come to an end. Yet, your colleagues whom you'll be working with in the 8th Parliament, some of them have already occupied spaces originally occupied by the MPP members in Parliament. How are you taking all of this drama ahead of the formal program?
Well, to put it lightly, I think that they need free senior high school education. I'm saying this because it doesn't make sense arithmetically for the NDC MPs elect to occupy the seat of the majority side. Be that as it may, the MPP, it's a party that believes in the rule of law. And as per the standing orders of Parliament, in the absence of a speaker, it is the responsibility of the clerk who is supposed to serve as a chair. And so when it's 12 o'clock, we will have to listen to what the clerk of Parliament will say. Apart from that, voting will also have to bring about the difference between the MPP and the NDC as to who will occupy the majority seat, because we believe that arithmetically, it does not make any mathematical sense for anybody to believe that even in the instance whereby the NDC holds 137 and MPP holds 137, which exposes the inconsistencies in the NDC's position. Because this morning I listened to Afezi, who clearly stated that nobody holds the majority in Parliament, for that matter, it's a hung Parliament. On what basis do you now claim few hours after your leader said that nobody claims the majority, only for us to find out that you have occupied the majority seat and thinking that you are the majority in Parliament? Because we are legislators, or we are about to be legislators, we will have to show the way. We will have to prove to Ghanaians that the laws that we pass in Parliament are laws that we will abide by them. And for that matter, I do not think that if we believe in the laws, especially when a Supreme Court, a High Court judge has ruled in Cape Coast today that because of the laws that governs this country, especially the Representation of the People's Act and the 1992 Constitution, the MP-elect of Asin North does not qualify to be sworn in. This is a ruling of a high court, and everybody who believes in the rule of law, a legislature for that matter, should believe that this is what the court says, until a higher court or a superior court says otherwise. And that's the ruling of the higher court. And I believe that if that should stand, or if that stands, what it means is that they have 136 and we have 137. We have an independent candidate who has overtly, publicly said that his color is blue, and for that matter, he will support the MPP as far as business of parliament is concerned.
And you have your speaker, the nomination is out, Professor Aaron Michael Quay. The NDC, they've also nominated Alban Babin as their nominee for the speakership, meaning that it's going to be a clear contest between the two sides. You have 137 plus an independent candidate. If he decides to vote for, there's going to be a secret ballot. I'm sure that coming into this hall, you've been briefed on exactly what you have to do. Walk us through the strategy, or better still, the shape in which the MPP MPLS are going into this particular meeting.
This is not the first time we are going to have such a contest in Parliament. I think that during His Excellency President Kufuor's era, we had a similar contest. So it's not going to be the first time. It's just going to be a matter of numbers. And I believe that the New Patriotic Party has the numbers in Parliament. And so with respect to the election of speakership, we believe that we are going to carry the day. His Excellency, the President, has already endorsed what the National Council also put forward, that Professor Aaron Michael Quay should be the Speaker of Parliament, especially because of his experience and the amount of experience that he comes to the table. And the President also wants to ensure some amount of continuity, especially because he's been a member of Parliament before. He himself has been a Speaker. He has been the current Speaker of Parliament for the 7th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. And so I have no doubt that by 12/1 thereabout, we should be able to have a Speaker who is Mike Okwei.
Who is the party's nominee for the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament?
Well, I wouldn't know. For now, it is the leadership that will propose to members. And of course, the person should be a full-fledged member of the party, a member elect as per the standing orders of Parliament and the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. And so whoever we put forward, I am cocksure that because of our numbers, and I say numbers based on arithmetics, if the NDC doesn't understand what arithmetics mean, then they should know that by 12/1, that is what is going to carry the day.
Thank you very much, Vincent Asafwa, and congratulations once again. Wish you the very best in the 8th Parliament. So, Evans, we are stationed at the main entry to Parliament. This is the door that the Speaker of Parliament will use to enter the Chamber for Business to start. But I know that you also have somebody you want to talk to. We will stay here and then bring you more as we look forward to a minute after midnight where business of the day will start.
And that was my colleague Elton Borbe engaging some members of Parliament, members-elect and members from the 7th Parliament. I told you it's a full team at the Parliament House. We'll be crossing over shortly with Evans leading the team, and we will be bringing you the decision moment. But still in the studio is Dr. Agri, who was making a point with leadership in Parliament, and also on Zoom is lawyer Martin Kpebu. Let me quickly gauge your mood, lawyer Martin Kpebu, on your expectations of the 8th Parliament. We've had at least 45 scandals in the 7th Parliament, including the visa fraud, including the 11 walkout corruption scandals, a number of boycotts. What are your expectations of the 8th Parliament? Hello, Mr. Kpebu. Kindly unmute for me.
Okay, simply put, that the 8th Parliament will perform far better than the 7th one. That is not to say the 7th Parliament didn't do anything, but things in the nature of human beings, we expect better performance as we go along. In simple words, progress. So we expect progress. So they should do far better than their
All right, so we lost Mr. Kwebu there, but I want to say thank you very much for joining us for this discussion. Let me quickly come to Dr. Agri to wrap up for me the point that you were making. Evans will join us shortly with some members of parliament on standby.
All right. I think that we have made progress as a country. I entered Legon in 1992 when we first voted into the Fourth Republic. And I have seen qualitative improvement in the way we have conducted ourselves. This is the most stable of our, the stable period that we have enjoyed in our 64 years of nationhood. Our democracy is still work in progress. So what is unfolding, it's still part of the systems that we are going through and the learning curves that we're going through. And I'm sure that we'll be better for it. We'll build capacity and make progress. We have had parliaments, 7 parliaments. As the lawyer and Martin indicated, we want to see progressive, qualitative improvement in the way we conduct ourselves. I'm looking forward to an improved quality as far as debates are concerned, because we expect that even the new entrants will learn the rules of engagement, the rules of the game, the standing orders, and all the other supporting documents. They will apply themselves religiously and diligently, meticulously to the work of Parliament. I'm sure that they will be able to strike a delicate balance between their constituency surgeries and what their responsibilities are in Parliament, so they can serve their constituents very well, as well as serve our Parliament very well. Because I can see that we're going to have much more, they should be much more consultative in the way they conduct themselves. I want to see that it should be possible that national interest should guide our conduct. We don't expect that others will dig their heels in just for the sake of excessive partisanship. The issue of ultra-majoritarianism, which was actually described by Alexis de Tocqueville, is gone for this 8th parliament. So I'm certain that the national interest will guide our conduct and we will be better for it.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Agri Darko is Chief Director from the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. I mean, we'll be having more of this going forward. Let me cross over straight to Parliament because my colleague Evans Mensah is interacting with some more members of Parliament. Abu Jinapo is currently on the bill.
In the evening.
You were here at 6.
Yes.
But you are needed at midnight.
Yes, because I want to be diligent. I want to be punctual. So I was here as early as 6. I got a very comfortable seat, and I'm okay with that seat.
Comfortable seat in the majority side.
On the right-hand side of the speaker. I don't know whether there's a majority.
Traditionally, that's where the majority.
But that's where I sit today, and I have my seat on the 3rd row, and I'm not moving from that seat. I'm not moving.
Nothing will move.
No.
What's your expectation tonight when the first business of electing a speaker plays out?
That's precedence. So there should be no other issue. There's precedence. So let us go through the process. Let us respect the tenets of democracy. Let the will of the people be expressed here. If all Ghanaians could gather here, they have voted for a speaker today. It's because all Ghanaians cannot be here. That is why they have elected us as their agents. And so even before I came here, I consulted a lot of my constituents. Because that ought to be the case.
And they asked you to vote for who? At least from
the
your
most
party
experienced parliamentarian, in my opinion, in Africa is Honorable Abang Bagwin. And I can tell you on authority that Bagwin has my vote. Absolutely. I'm unwavering. I'm unfettered. I'm unalloyed. I am voting for him. Not just because he's NDC, but because he represents the collective will of the people in Parliament and in Ghana. And so he has my vote. He has my vote. It's a secret ballot, but he has my vote.
Earlier you talk about subverting the will of the people, and that you will not. This is something you counter on. Is it a feeling that there are moves to do that?
But you are a Ghanaian. You can see what is happening in this country. Look, let us learn to do what is proper and right. Let us learn to respect the will of the people. This country will not end today. Akufo-Addo will go. John Mahama will go. Even us, as young as we are, would eventually leave the scene. So let's respect the will of the people and do what is right and proper. That is all. If I had lost, I would have gone home and probably go and lecture. I would not try to use unorthodox means and try and force myself on the people of Ghana. It's not proper. Please, and all of you, including the media, you owe it a duty to ensure that we safeguard this democracy. It's the only democracy we have.
Do you also expect to vote for first and second deputy speaker, and do you have a proposed name?
Certainly, but I will leave that for now. Leadership is working on that. I and my colleagues, we have expressed our support to leadership, and we have a very powerful leadership, a committed one. Haruna Idrisu is a man of integrity, an experienced legislator, and so we'll support him. We'll give him every support, and we will do what is right and proper for this country.
I've heard names. In fact, the name that came up was Aveji is going to be suggested. In fact, also, I've heard that former Deputy Attorney General, your good friend, Abdulmalik Ayine, is also going to be proposed for one of the deputy positions. True?
They are all competent people, and all of them are capable of occupying that position. And so whoever is nominated, we would rally behind that person.
Okay. You expect to win the vote for the speaker?
Yes, we believe that by the grace of God, in all honesty, if the will of the people is expressed today, if the truth prevails today, we are confident that our nominee would be the next Speaker of the Republic of Parliament.
John Joynews, thank you. And all the best tonight. We're going to be watching this unfold.
Certainly.
That's John Joynews, MP elect for Yape Kusogu. Elton Brobe is currently speaking to the minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak.
Of our standing orders, we also believe that the Speaker will interpret our standing orders for everybody to understand. So it may be a test case, but I can tell you that we'll pass this test.
You have a serious job on your hands right now. How are you dealing with it?
Don't worry. I know it's a difficult task, but I can tell you for about 3 days now, we've been doing the needful. Don't forget, I'm an organizer myself, and we've done all that is necessary. And I'm telling you, there's not going to be any surprises.
Are you going to ask the clerk, who will be the presiding officer before the election of a speaker, to get your colleagues to move from the side they've occupied?
No, I think there's some consultation going on. Be it as it may, if the status quo remains as they are inviting us to yield to, we will still have to cast votes. And after the vote has been cast and the speaker has been elected, the speaker will interpret the standing orders. There's no qualms about it.
It's about an hour and 30 minutes to midnight, which constitutionally means that the serving parliament is still in session.
That's right.
So how do you describe this takeover in the chamber?
It's an invitation to a confrontational exchange because it is most unnecessary. It is totally unnecessary. You ask yourself, to what end? What are they seeking to achieve? Just to create the impression, a very bad impression for the vulnerable people to fall for it, that, oh, they actually are in the majority. We all saw the votes that were cast. We saw the votes that were declared at various constituencies and the various polling stations. So I'm surprised at Honorable Haruna Idrisu. When I walked into the chamber, he was the first person I went to. And he couldn't give me any tangible reason why they did what they did. But we can excuse them.
All right. Now, let's talk about what happened a minute after midnight. You are the MPP's whip for now. What have you done to get...
I'm the majority whip.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. Let's look at it from that angle.
When you agree with me, it's not debatable. We are in the majority. Don't fall for that prank. The prank of the minority, don't fall for it. And I know you are too big to fall for that prank.
All right. So let's look at the plan going forward. And you have your nominee for the speakership. They also have their nominee. What have you done to whip your members in line to ensure that you get the votes that you need?
Well, there are precedents that have gone on, and we take a cue accordingly, and we act duly.
Explain more. You got to get
it means that we will do what we have to do.
You do what you have to
yes.
do. I'm picking signal that they may boycott the inauguration itself.
Well, I don't know what else. Maybe they want to boycott the air that blows in this country. They want to boycott everything. Well, so be it. Ghanaians are determined to ensure that governance takes its course. Ghanaians are ready to ensure that welfare is brought to their doorsteps. Ghanaians are not interested in wanton and unwarranted boycott. It's not going to help us. If you have something reasonable and we have something good to offer Ghanaians, it is incumbent upon you as a government in waiting or the minority to put it across. Boycott is not going to help anybody. But we will not be surprised if they boycott it. And it will not change anything. It will not change the glamour, the beauty, and the sanctity of it. It will not change anything.
Thank you very much. That was the MPP's Chief Whip going into the 8th Parliament, Frank Anadompre, who is also currently the 7th Parliament. So I will say that he's the chairperson of the Foreign Affairs Committee. Let's speak to more MPs ahead of the official business, which will start a minute after midnight, and to find out how both sides are working to resolve this, confusion, if you like, that is currently happening in the chamber. Honorable Rashid Purple, congratulations again. Welcome back to Parliament.
Thank you so much.
I'm at a loss. Educate me. What is happening in the chamber?
Well, as you know, after the general elections, we have equal numbers, though there are certain challenges we are still facing. By the moment, we have 137 each from the two sides. And that translates into saying that there's no majority, there's no minority. So when you enter the chamber, first, you decide where to sit. And that's exactly what we have done. We have chosen to sit at the right-hand side of the speaker. And they have come and had to go to the left-hand side.
They say that what you did is an attempt to invite them into a confrontation with you, and they will not fall for it.
But that's self-serving statements, and that's unacceptable statements. What gives them the power for them to say that's where they want to sit? And we cannot sit there. You have 137, we have 137. Why must we cede to you that you must be the one necessarily to be in the majority?
Which parliament are we talking about here?
We are talking about the 8th Parliament, the oncoming 8th Parliament.
And the life of it has yet to start.
Yes.
So why would you occupy a space that is still in the 7th Parliament?
Why will they occupy a space which is still in the 7th Parliament? We are not in the 7th Parliament.
We are Parliament now will officially come to an end after midnight or before midnight.
The people sitting here are not members of the 7th Parliament. They are members of the 8th Parliament.
But constitutionally, we are still in the 7th Parliament until midnight.
Yes, so there's no guarantee for anybody to say they are in the majority, because we are there to be sworn in as members of Parliament. Once you are sworn in, you sit where you feel comfortable, and we feel comfortable where we are. Remember that this is a constitutional challenge or crisis we are facing. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that when you tie, one should elect to be a majority. When you tie, the Constitution is silent on that. And there's nothing also in the Constitution nor in our standing orders that says that one space is for this party or that party. Even when you are in the majority, it is only conventional that you sit at the right hand of the speaker. There's nothing law about it, no legal instrument spell that out.
So you have your nominee for the speakership?
Yes.
The MPP, they've also got a nominee for the speakership?
Yes.
Even sitting arrangement is becoming an issue now?
Yes.
So clearly, the posture you are presenting is that you are ready to debate every little issue that will come up after the minute of midnight.
Of course. I mean, in Parliament, our duty is to debate. Our duty is to trade ideas and opinions and to compare policies. And we had our policies we presented to the people. They had their policies they presented to the people. Now, if you bring them forward and we see a deviation on it, we'll put them right. In other words, the job of the opposition is to make sure we give the people the best. We get government to do the best for the people. Wherever the government deviates from the right course of action, you will see the opposition opposing them. So definitely, we are ready to debate to the hilt.
My final question will be, would the NDC MPs be present at the formal inauguration of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it, but I don't think that it will be possible.
So, Evans, you are hearing it live from us officially for the first time. The NDC MP says that they will not be part of the inauguration of President-elect Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. which will take place in some few hours from now. But that was the position of the NDC, justifying the reason why they've occupied the right side of the speaker. What is the MPs doing about it? I have here the Deputy Majority Leader of the MPP side in Parliament, Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is going into his third term in Parliament. And then he just got a call from the Majority Leader, so he's going to listen to that call. And then we'll hear from him the plans going forward to, first of all, to resolve the impasse happening in the chamber right now regarding the seating arrangement. As you can see, the DC MPs elect for the 8th Parliament have already taken a position in the chamber. They've occupied the right side of the speaker. Originally, they were on the left side. Now they've moved to the right side. They are saying that they consider themselves in majority, the reason why they've occupied the right side of the speaker. The left side has been occupied for now by the MPs. And so they say that they do not want to confront them in any way. But we have a lot more to talk about, we have a lot more to listen, we have a lot more to bring to our listeners and viewers, especially minutes after midnight. But now we can go down to the basement of the Chamber of Parliament as we bring you more, comments from MPs elect ahead of the official business, which will take place a minute after midnight. Evans, comments from MPs elect ahead of the.
We're going to hear from the incoming Deputy Majority Leader shortly. Deputy Leader on the NPP side shortly, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who join him, and I will go back to him. Joining me right now, obviously, is Winston Amwa, with the political desk also. Hello, Winston.
Hi, Evans.
Great. And we have a guest joining us. He's a man, one of those giant killers in the MPP primary. He gets now elected, and he's going to come to Parliament for the first time. Mr. Chibefi. Hello, Mr. Chibefi. Thank you for your time here.
Thank you very much.
On your election headquarters.
Yeah, thanks.
New job going south.
South, that's right.
And what's the feeling tonight?
Not too bad. We're just expecting to have a very smooth session this evening, but we came and we've seen a lot of, things going on. We didn't anticipate to see this kind of move from the side of the minority. They think they are still in the majority. That's what they are claiming. But we know that the Ghanaians voted massively for.
But your side is not a majority. Your side is not in the majority.
MPP?
Yes.
MPP is in the majority.
Well, how?
Because, let us even put this evening session in perspective. When we're entering the chamber, everybody was supposed to show your ID cards. And we know for sure, looking at what we have got, we know we had about 3 days section starting from about 3 days ago, and we've been told that we are in the majority because we went through the process and we're given the numbers, and clearly we're in the majority. Nothing can change that.
You have 137.
That's right.
They have 137.
They don't have 137 now. Note that this afternoon an injunction was placed on their Asinov candidate. I don't know whether you know about that. The MP elect for Asinov has been injuncted, and he doesn't have the right to even step into the chamber.
Well,
tonight.
We understand that he's already in there.
Clearly it means that there's.
Have you seen him yourself?
No, I have not.
But we understand that he's already in there, and they're insisting that he will participate.
But that will be,
and
contempt.
There are proper processes for serving.
I believe seriously and strongly that the proper process was followed. But these guys have made up their minds to create just problems for us, and I don't think it's well for our democracy, because Ghana doesn't deserve this. This is not what Ghana deserves at all.
Winston?
Yeah, but when you say, for instance, that we've been told we're in the majority, who told you that you're in the majority?
We know the numbers already.
No, but who told you you're in the majority?
We know the numbers.
The numbers you know is 137. The NDC has 137.
Less 137.
Yes, but before you were told it was 137, 137. So how come you say that we've been told we're in the majority?
Because the independent candidate clearly is going to be on our side in the chamber. He's going to sit with us. in the chamber.
He's going to work with you.
Yes.
But the law says the party with the most votes forms the majority.
That's right.
You don't, I mean, with the most members, you don't have the most
constitution
members.
of the land doesn't clearly give space for an independent candidate to sit separately from the majority or the minority in the House.
So
he has
sits,
to align himself
with either the majority or the minority.
And in this case,
now there's no majority or minority. So how do you then say we're in the majority?
Because I was bringing him on board. I was just happy because he, you know that we have our caucus already formed. You know that the caucus have been formed. Minority and majority caucus have been formed. And he is on our side. And clearly, that's what I can say. And nothing will change.
Yeah.
He's going to be on our side from tonight to the time the 8th Parliament ends.
So he's going to be sitting with you, you say?
That's right.
Okay. It appears that you were taken by surprise, off guard, by the action of your friends in the MPP, NDC.
That's what I said. It's also surprising.
They had a strategy. You did not.
We believed and we gathered this intelligence long ago, but we thought it was not too important because I mean it is so clear. Ghanaians have given us the mandate to govern, and the numbers are clear. We have 137. They have 137. So that just decide to come in for a clerk to decide where you should sit. You cannot straight away decide where you want to sit. That is not right. And I don't think that is how business is conducted in this House. I mean, clearly there are structures and there are procedures in conducting business in the House. So I believe that nobody can just stand up and decide to do what he or she wants to do.
You're looking forward to be voting tonight. This is your first order of business.
That's right.
Okay, and you're going to be voting for
our candidate.
Who is that?
You know that already. I mean, it's a public knowledge.
That's right.
But
it's a secret ballot.
I mean, that's going to happen. But because I told you.
Are you willing to show it? Because I understand that the chief whip wants to verify your vote.
Because we are in caucus. We believe that we are coming as a team. We are coming to push one agenda. That's all that we're coming to do tonight. So we have taken the decision already, and we are coming to just implement whatever we have to
Is there a decision among yourself that each of you must provide a proof of your voting?
No, we have not been told to do that.
Okay, but
we will still vote, and we'll vote for our candidate.
Okay, but if would you be showing your vote to the whip?
No, I don't think. For now, they've not told us that. I mean, but there's going to be a secret ballot, so nobody can force anybody to do that. However, if they tell us to do that, we don't have any choice but to do exactly what they want us to do.
Elting is going to be joining us shortly with Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is going to be your leader, your deputy leader. I'm grateful that you could join us.
That's right.
Mr. Beff, you're all the best.
Thanks so much.
Your first time in Parliament. I'm sure you're excited about this going forward. You're looking forward to be sworn in.
Trusting God, but just that we came and we saw this unnecessary tension from the side of the minority.
Thank you very much. I want to go now and watch our interview Elting did with Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who is the new deputy leader on the MPP side. Of course, speaking to Elton Broby, of course, just as the members were filing into the main chamber. Elton Broby.
Currently unfolding. Be assured that MPP is made up of men and women who respect the laws of this country. Tonight, we are to elect Speaker, and if we so desire, per the rules, proceed with the election of the deputy speakers. We haven't been sworn in yet. We are members of Parliament elect. So, patience is a rule. We have to demonstrate maturity, and at the end of the day, you will see what will happen. We are calm. There should be no problem. You realize that they sat on the right side. We decided to occupy the other seats. So it's okay. We'll get to the bridge and cross it, and they will know what exactly the situation is. Thank you very much.
Republic of Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, how are you resolving the matter in the chamber?
I don't think there's any matter in the chamber. What matter is there in the chamber?
The sitting arrangement.
There's no sitting arrangement that has been violated to the best of my knowledge. I'm sure you are aware that the good people of this country, in the election that just ended, voted for change. Okay? And so our status has been transformed from a minority to the majority. And so we are taking our rightful seats.
Wouldn't you rather wait for the elected speaker to pronounce on that?
Which elected speaker? This is not the duty of the speaker to determine where members of the house sit. It is not one of the duties. I've been in this house long enough to know that that is not the duty of the speaker.
Your colleague says that this action is obviously inviting them to confront you, and that is something that they wouldn't do.
I mean, in terms of what? To confront us, that what have we violated?
They say that this could result in some kind of physical altercation.
In terms of what have we violated, just tell me where we are sitting. Why are we not supposed to sit there? Who is supposed to sit there? Tell me. Can you tell me who is supposed to sit where we are sitting? What right any other person has to sit where we are sitting that we don't have that right to sit there? Can you tell me?
Look, I am not a member of parliament.
Yes, so but you know how the cities in parliament are, and the question you just asked presupposes that we have gone and usurped somebody's sitting place. Okay, so whose sitting place have we taken that anybody should complain about?
So as far as the NDC is concerned, they see themselves in majority.
I'm just even asking you, whose seats have we gone and taken for anybody to be angry that we have taken their seats? Is the MPP, do they have those numbers to sit where we are sitting more than us that we are sitting there now? Do they have that numbers?
Would there be a way out of this?
There shouldn't be any way out. We have sat where we are supposed to sit, and we are sitting, and we will continue to sit where we are sitting.
Nothing will move you from that chair.
I am saying that unless somebody proves to me that we have no right to sit where we are sitting. So can you just give me one reason why we should not sit where we are sitting? Because previously, when we had 106, did we ever come to sit there? So today, do we have the same 106? So the number that we have today entitles us to sit where we are sitting, and we will continue to sit where we are sitting.
The main business of, a minute after midnight will be the election of a speaker and 2 deputies. The NDC, you've got your nominee, Alban Babin, seasoned lawyer, an experienced member of parliament, who unfortunately will not be in the 8th parliament, but could be with the 8th parliament as speaker. And nothing will change. You're going to vote for that person.
Oh, I believe that Honorable Alban Babin is not only the longest serving member of the parliament ever in the history of this country, but he has a deep-seated knowledge, expertise, and workings of parliament. In fact, if you have been covering this house, you will no doubt pay tribute to Alban Babin. There have been times when this house has been stuck in a quagmire about standing orders, application of standing orders, the laws, the constitution of this republic, and the rules and regulations of the house. We've had to rely on the accumulated experience and expertise of Babin to extract us. So Babin cuts across. He's a very well-respected member of this house, and there cannot be any better speaker. Indeed, the nominee of the MPP cannot match Honorable Babin in terms of expertise, knowledge, and the workings of parliament. He doesn't come near Honorable Babin. In fact, he's still even learning some of the rules of the house. Okay? So Babin has it at his fingertips. So if you are looking for somebody who can run this house and run this house in a more competent, dedicated to the satisfaction of all members of the house, it is Honorable Babin. So it is on that score that the good people of Parliament this time, inshallah, will vote for Honorable Babin to become the Speaker of the 8th Parliament.
And talking about voting, we have the numbers to decide this, and we have 275 members of Parliament that will vote. Now, if you want to look at the composition now, we have 137, one person standing in the middle. If parties involved, MPPN, decide to go according to what their party has asked them to do, then the decider will be the independent candidate. You still have the belief that it can go in your way.
So don't count your chickens before the eggs hatch. I can tell you that this is Parliament, and these are members of Parliament elected in their own rights from their constituencies. So wait until the vote takes place. So that's why I say don't be in a hurry to count your chickens before the eggs hatch, because you could be mistaken to count eggs as chicken. So by the grace of Allah, I know that by the end of the vote, and it's supposed to be a secret ballot, by the grace of Allah Almighty, Babin will be declared the Speaker of the House for the 8th Parliament.
Finally, before I let you go, because a lot is happening inside, will you be at the inauguration of the President-elect?
That is an illegitimate event. I will not be there. because I am telling you that it's the product of fraud. It's an exhibition there to exhibit fraud, and that is why we are in court, and we contest. The president did not win. He's not. We don't recognize his status as a president-elect. We don't recognize him because he did not win.
So collectively, the NDC will not be at the inauguration.
The leadership has not taken a decision, but I know that I will not be there, and I know that to a very large extent, the leadership for our party may gravitate towards that, even though the decision is for the leadership. I can't speak for the leadership, but I will personally not be there, and I know there are a good number of my colleagues who will not step foot there, because we think it's an illegitimate event.
Thank you very much. Honorable ABA Fusenin is a member of parliament, and as you heard from him, he will not be at the inauguration of President-elect Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. But the issue about seating arrangement, it doesn't look like it will be resolved anytime soon, because the NDC is, they've resolved they will not move from the right side of the speaker, because they have the numbers that entitles them to occupy the right side of the speaker. The MPP says that they will not confront them on this matter. That's how come, in their own wisdom, they've decided to also occupy the left side of the speaker. But this seating arrangement issue will be resolved when we have a speaker in the chair to preside over business of the House. We will bring you more reactions, and then we'll also have our own chat as how this is going. So, honourable member for elect for Kadi, right?
Yes, please.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And how is it going inside? Have you located your seat?
Yes, please. I found it.
And you are happy with where you are sited?
I'm comfortable.
You're comfortable.
Yeah.
So how is it going to go tonight?
Actually, I'm a freshman, and it's nothing I really know.
But then surprised at the way things are unfolding in the chamber.
Yeah, it's the first time, so first time means everything is new.
So what is the instruction to you, for example, in terms of the speakership?
Actually, now, we belong to the majority, and then we know that, we're going to elect a speaker for today. So, yeah.
And you're going to have your way?
Of course, we have our way already, because with the majority, it means we have the opportunity to elect our speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Elect for Kade. And so, Evans, we are still here at the main entry to Parliament House, and around the Chamber of Parliament, there are a lot of talks, MPs in small meetings, and my information is that they are trying to resolve what is happening in the chamber before the Clerk of Parliament take over the business of the House. That will be a minute after midnight, and then the first order of business will be the election of a speaker to preside over the 8th Parliament of Ghana. And already we have two nominees. The MPP's Professor Mike Aaron Okwe, who, the life of the 7th Parliament has not come to an end, so I would say that who is the current Speaker of Parliament, and his tenure will come to an end at exactly midnight. And then a minute into Thursday, 7th January, he will present himself as nominee of the MPP for the election of the Speaker of Parliament. The NDC side, they have former Member of Parliament for Nandoli Kalio, Aban Babem, and he will come against Professor Mike Okwe, and then with 137 plus one independent. We do not know whether the injunction that was secured by the MPP, for want of a better word, in the Asim North constituency, we do not know whether the clerk office has received a copy from the court, even though I can confirm for sure that the MP elect for Asim North on the NDC side is in the chamber. He's taking his seat, and we're waiting to hear what the directive from the clerk will be relating to the injunction that was secured in court in the Cape Coast High Court today. And then the directive as to whether he will be asked to move out of the chamber, because the standing order is clear. If you are asked to move and you don't move, the clerk or whoever is presiding can direct the marshal to move you out of the chamber physically. We wait to see how members of Parliament on the NDC side will react to this. If the clerk should direct that because of the court injunction, the fact that he cannot be in the chamber, and whether he should move and decide not to move, and then the marshal is called upon to move him out of the chamber physically, that will be something that we are waiting to see how Parliament will resolve this particular matter. Even seating arrangement has become an issue. So how are they going to deal with the issue of speakership and the issue of the court injunction? You can only guess what is ahead of us, Evans.
Stay with us. I want to bring in Honorable Miriku Duka, he's the MP-elect for Takwang Swayam, who's joining us right now. Elton will join us for a quick conversation right after this. But congratulations, Mr. Merkuduka.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, and let me start with the myth in your constituency. There's a story told that in your constituency they counted the votes 5 times. The 4 occasions you lost, and on the 5th occasion you won by 100 votes. Tell us what happened. Is that the case?
Evans, it's not true. That's not what happened.
So how many times did they count?
We counted at the various polling stations, came to the collation center, did the collation, and that's all. Sended it.
So how many times?
Just once.
The collation center. After the counted at the collation center, that's right.
No, that's not
Winston,
true.
you heard the story too.
Yes, I mean, I heard that it was counted 5 times.
He said he heard.
Yes,
Yeah.
but my
Speculations are, you know.
Hold on, but I mean, let's be very frank here. You and I from the Western region, and we know I have sources in the Takwang Swayam constituency. And my sources in the constituency told me that it was after the 5th recount that you emerged victorious.
Unfortunately, you weren't there. And your source, maybe you may not be able to disclose. And I must put it on record that not everybody was allowed to go to the collation center. But I was there.
Did you do recollation?
I'm telling you, as a member of parliament, I'm not just speculating. And I'm telling you what happened.
And I'm asking, did you do recollation?
No. Just that we got there, something was projected, and one of my agents said, no, this is not the right figure. So he corrected, and we continued. That's all.
What was projected that you said wasn't the right figure?
I mean, after, counting or taking about 100 polling stations, then projected a figure that was wrong because they were collating together. So you couldn't have even put something on the board or project on the wall without, checking with the other agents. All the various agents were there when we did the collation, and they all assented. So I'm surprised when I hear people say, they counted. Some are saying 10, some are saying 5. They are coming up with their own figures. Some even said Merkuduka has lost. Didn't you hear that?
Yeah, but it was close.
Victorious, so.
Yes, it was. Indeed, it was close. But Merkuduka, by God's grace, won.
Congratulations. Now,
thank you, my brother.
What's your expectation tonight?
Yes, I'm thinking of protecting the image of Ghana. Because if we go by the target chosen by the minority, then obviously we will not be sending good message out there. So we need to take our time, allow the process to flow, because we need to elect Speaker of Parliament. And I don't think where we even sit now is necessary, because it's going to be chaired by the Clerk of Parliament. We don't have a Speaker of Parliament. And majority is not determined by, at the plenary, it's not determined by number of people who enter there. It's practically determined by number of seats you occupy there. That's majority. So we are going to occupy seats, and the seats, those who are going to occupy the seats are going to vote. And majority will obviously win the speakership. And it is then there and then that we're going to have, or we're going to determine who sits where. I mean, it will come up practically. So we're going to go by the law. We're not going to, in a way, fight. We're not going to shout. Let the process.
So you're voting for Professor Michael Quay?
Obviously.
Okay.
Obviously.
All the best tonight.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay.
I'm grateful to have you, and a pleasure being here.
Grateful. We're going to be speaking to Kojo Oponkruma, who's going to join us shortly here on set. But let me bring you in, Winston. Winston, there's a lot happening now in the House that is fascinating. One of the biggest surprises for the MPP, they walked in expecting to go and sit on the right side, and the NDC had gone to sit there in their white, and they came here earlier with in buses than the MPP did, and have managed to take the side normally reserved for the majority. Now, the biggest one, I think, it is the issue surrounding the Asin North. There is every indication from all the interviews that we've had that the Asin North member of parliament elect is in the House. And in fact, we understand he possibly is in the chamber. and the NDC is insisting that he will participate in the proceedings to elect a speaker. That is going to be fascinating.
It is, Evans. Look, let me tell you something. I think that the NDC scored a major first over the NPP. Okay, and you saw KT Hammond when he got into the chamber trying to tell the NDC to move to the left side. So if we saw the NDC coming with OA buses. Later on, we saw the NPP coming with STC buses. If there's anything like a moral boosting victory, a moral boosting first, I think the NDC has done just that over the NPP. But we'll get into the conversation about the Asin North NP. But we're told that Elton John Brobby has Dr. Kwabena Donko.
We will go to Kwabena Donko shortly, but we are going to be joined by the MP led for Fwansa Yeribi, the communications minister, who will join us on set, and then we'll go to Elton, who is standing by with the Anot Dompra, who is the whip, by the way. Elton is definitely excited about the position Elton is in. I don't envy him because he's really at the nerve center with all the MPs who are coming in, and so we're going to go there shortly as we get the information minister in. Remember, our coverage is brought to you by Petrosol. Clean fuel in full quantity is always a delightful experience. Cowbell Coffee, taste it, love it. Magdan Shipping and Logistics Limited, your total logistics partner. Pad Ever Limited, your home of modern furniture. DBS Roofing, we truly are roof experts. Festival, adding flavors to your life. Wateri, Lotteries is, you just make sure you follow star 787 hash. Ghana's premier, biggest jackpot lottery. HEPA Plus mixture for your general well-being. And of course, as I said, Kojo Ponkrumah, the information minister, has us join us on set. And you are dressed in resplendent, Kinte. Is there a significance behind this, by the way?
Well, not exactly, except the fact that my wife gave it to me.
Okay. and who? How dare you not wear it?
You have to wear it.
She who must be obeyed.
She who must not be questioned.
Must not be questioned. Anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
And a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys as well.
Are you excited about tonight?
I think it's a solemn night. Where Parliament is turned into a big polling station for the single business of the election of the Speaker and possibly deputy speakers, depending on the order of business and the appetite of the House. It's also a night that MPs elect who have been issued with the necessary warrants have the opportunity to come in and to take an oath that will be administered when a speaker is elected. So we're all expectant.
Were you surprised when you walked in and your traditional seat that you've been in for 4 years has been taken by your friends from the other side?
No, because I think about 2 days ago, we got indication that they will be nominating their candidate for speaker. They will be coming in a bit earlier, trying to take on the seats that are traditionally observed as the seats to the right-hand side of a speaker when a speaker is in the chair. And we'll be seeking to engineer a lot of drama tonight and tomorrow morning with a view of taking away from the grace that is supposed to be associated with an occasion like this. And so we are quite prepared for the kind of things that they want to do today and tomorrow.
So we know the speaker will be elected after 12 midnight.
Yes.
Now, it's going to be by secret voting.
Yes.
You have just one, maybe two, majority over the NDC.
Yeah.
Aren't you scared that one of you, particularly those who may have been offended by Professor Michael Quay, would vote for Alban Bagbin and flip it in the NDC's favor?
Now, I mean, in elections, anything is possible. There are also those who may have been offended by Mr. Alban Bagbin, who may decide to flip from their side and join us so that we get more than the 138 that I think everybody expects us to pick. Of course, let's admit it is a very close parliament and therefore a very close election. If my memory serves me right, Peter Alajete, when he was nominated by the then minority, actually got 2 votes from the majority side. So you are very right in saying that nobody goes or should go into this with comfort and joy that it's a done deal. But I do not think that our leadership is also approaching it with that view that this is a done deal. the necessary exercises that need to go on in terms of whipping our votes and ensuring that we have all our members here and getting the numbers being undertaken.
And talking about whipping your votes, is there an indication that members would have to show how they're voting?
I don't have that kind of indication. This, if I'm correct, is a secret ballot. I've seen the Electoral Commissioner's booths already available in the Speaker's lobby.
The Electoral Commission has been...
I've seen the Electoral Commissioner's booths, the booths for the election in the Speaker's lobby, as we were caucusing before we came in. So it is my expectation that they'll bring those booths in for a secret ballot. We are hopeful that it will give us an opportunity to possibly even get more than the 138 that people are expecting us.
You are hoping that an NDC MP will vote for you.
Well, if you look at Mr. Bagman and his history in the NDC, especially his history when it comes to the Mahama side of the NDC and the kind of things that he has said and done in times past to cause angst within their camp. When we speak to them, there are a lot of them who are, the time comes, so into they come some. So we are also hopeful.
They tell you they're going to be voting against
Well, they haven't exactly said that, but we have a conversation among ourselves. So we are also hoping that we can pull some of those, especially those from the Mahama flock who are in angst about what Mr. Bagban said and has been saying about Mr. Mahama over the years, that we can get them onto our side and give us more than the 138 that we are looking for.
Now, Mr. Ponkrumah, tonight we saw what happened. The biggest surprise I think going into tonight was a decision of the High Court in Cape Coast when it has to do with the Asin North. Now, your NDC colleagues tell us he is going to be participating fully.
I think we've cited him in the chamber.
Yes,
yeah.
But they say he's there.
Yeah.
What's your reaction to that?
You see, I think that we should do some public education. First of all, tonight, Parliament is just one polling station. I've heard people talk about, who is sitting on the majority side, who is sitting. It all doesn't matter. Parliament is only a polling station tonight for the purposes of electing a speaker who will then proceed to swear in members of Parliament. And then if the appetite is there to elect the deputy speakers tonight, we may choose to do so as well. Therefore, tonight, in our estimation, who sits on the left, who sits on the right is inconsequential. And that's why we have elected that we will not grant the grace of this drama that our friends from the other side are hoping they can engineer by coming in early, sitting on the right, then hoping that we'll come in and try and remove them or something. That's what they're hoping to engineer. We're not going to grant them that. Because tonight, if you read the rules, the business is simple. The clerk of Parliament after midnight will announce that these are MP select. The 8th Parliament is about to commence. We don't have a speaker. May I receive nominations? When those nominations are made available, we'll then go into a vote. Now that vote, like every other vote at every other polling station, you don't show up and say, I want to vote. You've covered elections. If you showed up at any polling station and said, I want to vote because my father says I should come and vote, you'll be thrown out. Because the security at the polling station, the electoral officials at the polling station. What is going to happen is that they are going to call the roll of MPs elect as has been provided by the Electoral Commission. And if indeed the clerk has been served by the ruling of the court, then it means that Parliament is injuncted from calling a particular name from a particular constituency. Is that person going to say at that point that he has elected that he's coming by force for a ballot paper to go and vote and put it in the box? Tell me, you are a journalist, you cover elections at polling stations. So it's the drama that our colleagues on the other side are looking for. But there are rules that apply, and you will notice when the time comes that they will call. They will call Ofonsia Yebi, Kojo, or Ponkrumah. They can't call anybody else. And assuming somebody's been injuncted or I've been injuncted, and the clerk has been served, the clerk will be stopped from calling me to come and receive a ballot paper, because just like any polling station where your name is not on the voter roll. So I don't think there should be too much worry. We on our side are quite clear. The most important thing is to ensure that the minimum 138 votes that we require, we get it to get our proposed speaker in the box, and we should be fine.
Okay. Elting just been managed to speak to Asiru Nketia, because I know the party is involved in the decisions, and I know your party as well in everything. We're going to be getting Asiru Nketia's interview to you shortly. Elting will stand by with that. But isn't that the thing about the whip and the party? Your party is whipping you with your whip, obviously, and the question about what's going to happen. The NDC side is firm on what is going to happen tonight
in terms of
their posture. You've talked about the drama. They are insisting that the man will vote, and not, first of all, the service. You know, if has to be confirmed with the...
I don't have clarity on that one. I've heard in the grapevine that the clerk has been served. I can't confirm that. You may want to have your people check. But listen, assuming the clerk has not even been served, we have a minimum 138 votes that we're hoping to have in the bag, which still gives us a majority in electing our speaker. If the clerk has been served, then it means that he will be stopped from participating in that process. So I think we should let the rules play out. It's not really a big deal.
Quick confirmations. Who's your nominee for First Deputy Speaker?
We are pretty clear in our mind that Joseph Osei-Usu will be our nominee for First Deputy Speaker, assuming we opt to go for that election tomorrow morning as well.
And the second deputy?
Well, again, there's a lot of conversation in the caucus. There are those who are of the view that we should be magnanimous, and despite what our colleagues are doing to try and mar the whole occasion, let the conventions of parliament prevail, in which case they have indicated to us that they will want the Honorable Dominic Ayine to be elected as second deputy speaker. There are those on our side who say grant them that, let's continue to be gracious. There are those who say that if they go ahead to mar the processes, then a nomination should be brought for our good friend, the Honorable Isiama from Fomena, to take that up. But I'm sure by the time we get there, we will be quite clear on how things would have panned out overnight.
Now, I'm interested in when they indicated to you that Dominic Ayine is the one they want to present as second deputy speaker. When did they tell you this?
This has been in the halls of Parliament for the last about 3-4 days. It was actually, may I say, a back and forth between Mahama Yariga and Dominic Ayine, and they've been talking to us. I mean, let's be honest, they've been talking
and
to
even
us.
after they decided to bring Alban Bagging, they've still been talking to you about it?
Yes, they've still been talking to us. And there are those on their side who are, making the point that this is a novel parliament. It's 137. Therefore, no matter what happens, we should still be magnanimous. And there are those on our side who have the view that that is the way to go. There are those who are more hard-lined at it. But in the end, leadership will give guidance and then we'll follow.
So what's your view on that?
Leadership will give guidance and we'll follow.
But you think you should be magnanimous to let them have it?
Leadership will give guidance and we'll follow.
We've heard that those who say, well, if they insist, then let's punish them by taking all 3. Except that the Constitution then makes it impossible for that to happen because the 2 must be from parties other than yours.
And that is why some have suggested that in that case, then you nominate the Fomena MP.
Yes, that is if he's interested.
Yes. If you have a written consent from him.
He's not going to be the most important man in Ghana right now. He can get anything he wants. He just has to ask. If I were him, I would probably ask for something bigger. Anyway, Kojo, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. And congratulations to the entire country. I think if you look at the feed coming in from the Chamber of Parliament, what some expected would have been that by now there's chaos, people trying to move our friends from the other side. But if you go to the Bible, the woman who is the actual mother of the baby is the one who said, don't cut up the baby. If she wants to fight over the baby, we can do this in a magnanimous manner so that we save the beauty of the occasion. And that is the approach that the majority side has taken in this matter. After all, tonight is just a polling station in Parliament. We are here. In fact, we can choose not to sit in the chamber. We can choose to sit in the gallery. Because what will happen is that they will call the names one by one to come. If voting starts now and I'm not in the chamber, my name will be called and I'll go in and cast my ballot and I can come and sit back here. So we're not going to mar the beauty of the occasion by following this drama that our colleagues on the other side are hoping to bring up. We are clear in our minds that it's a solemn occasion and we should let the Ghanaian democracy benefit from it. You've seen the kind of awkward pictures coming from the US. Is that what we want here in Ghana? No, we don't want that here in Ghana. So we're going to have a very dignified ceremony in the wee hours of the morning and tomorrow as well in the makeshift chamber when we go for the inauguration of President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Baumia. And then we'll move it from
Let me ask you this. This is I'm curious. I saw you emerge from a bus.
Yes.
Were you camped?
Camped, no. We've been having a series of caucus meetings, and because there are different views, some are new members, etc., you can't do all of it here. So we've been at a hotel where we've gone through, the various things that we want to do, we don't want to do. There are those who have different views on how we should go about this, and you need to explain to them that these are the rules. We don't need to be radical about this. This is how we can achieve this in the end. If that is what people want to call camping, well, I won't begrudge them that. But you'll notice that I think both sides, we've been at various caucusing points, and then we've come here in buses, and we'll be doing same
I guess
tomorrow as well.
When you first came in 4 years ago, Did you come with a group, everybody?
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't.
I guess that's my curiosity.
Yeah.
Was there something special about this year that somebody said,
I think this year
let's get everybody to come together?
I think this year one of the biggest things has been the security risk.
Okay.
We have been warned to be very careful because there are suspicions that people could be prevented from coming in here so that you don't have the 138 to get the numbers that you are looking for, or people could even be harmed as part of this exercise. And it's important not to take anything for granted. So we've spent about 2 days or so going through a number of things, particularly to get the new members aligned. I think that's what our colleagues on the other side. And I think now you're having drama unfold in the chamber. Very unfortunate.
So it looks as somebody had attempted to drag somebody from their seat.
Yeah.
And as you see this unfold, that's what it looks like. I see Yilitre there, and I see a lot of the leaders also there. And this obviously is a drama that Kojo said we don't want to see, but it's playing out now. I see a lot of your colleague female MPs who are yelling, and there's heated exchange of words on the floor right now. And it appears this has to do with the seating arrangement, because somebody had taken a seat. And I see people almost gesticulating aggressively about this. I see John Jinapo, who was with us a short while ago, who was clear that he was going to lay down his life almost to ensure that
we are clear in our minds that this is what the NDC wants. This is what our friends from the NDC want. And that is why our leadership has been quite clear to our members that don't grant them this wish that they want. This is what they want, to mar the occasion, get it nasty with MPs elect arguing on the floor, throwing things up and down. This is not what you want.
Yeah.
And tonight, the rules are quite clear. Tonight, Parliament is only a polling station to elect the Speaker and to swear in MPs elect. You can sit in the gallery and be called.
Parliament, that I've known it, and Kojo, we did this job together for a long time.
Yes.
You rarely see a Ghanaian parliament do this.
Yes.
Rarely, very rarely.
And this is what our colleagues in the NDC want to engineer. And that is why our leadership has been making the point that don't bite that bait.
But to be fair, though, we don't know who is the instigator here. To be fair, we're just watching the.
Oh, but I think
we're just watching the pictures.
I think if you follow the conversation, even what we had earlier, everybody expected that our side will be on the right-hand side of the Speaker's chair. Our colleagues have gone to sit there, baiting that somebody will come and try and take a seat, etc. Leadership has explained to us that be on the left side. Let's go through the process. Let's elect the Speaker. Let the Speaker make the consequential rulings, and that can be followed. Yeah. And that's my understanding of what we are seeking to do. I don't know what exactly has happened in the last 2-3 minutes.
Because everybody was seated quite calmly.
This is what we understand our colleagues want to engineer, and I don't think we have to grant them that.
Yeah, I mean, so now I see here candidate Japon, who is, well, the gentle tap on the head of his other colleague on the other side. That is, well, now there's a nice exchange of candidate Japon trying to calm down John Jinapo. In fact, I see another MP trying to move him away. And it appears he's the center of this. Okay, now are these your colleagues? No, this is the NDC members.
This is the NDC side.
NDC side who are
now up on their feet.
Yes.
Clapping and singing and clapping.
Singing and clapping and you know. But the thing though, because you don't have a speaker.
Yes.
You're going to have the clerk presiding.
Yes. The clerk has not even come. It's not even midnight.
Yeah.
Technically, we are still on the clock of the 7th Parliament.
7th Parliament. and yet, we have the new MPs who are yet to be sworn in the House.
Yeah.
Who, when this is playing out, and there's nobody to restore order like the Speaker would.
The Marshal, at this stage, is the one whose task it is to ensure that there's order in the chamber.
Okay.
While we wait for the clerk to assume his position and then announce to the House the proceedings that are supposed to come on. We were briefed by leadership. As I mentioned earlier, that leadership will give direction and then we'll flow. We were briefed by leadership to move, because when we came in, we were all on the sidelines. We were briefed to move in and take our seat on the other side and just be calm, allow the clerk to come in, call for the election, let the election be over, and then depending on how that election terminates, then the consequential orders will follow. The Speaker will then swear in the MPs elect. And then after that, assuming there's the appetite to elect deputy speakers, you may go ahead and do it. If there's no such appetite, there could be an adjournment, and then we go for the president swearing in tomorrow morning. I do not know exactly what has transpired in the last 2-3 minutes to now get things to degenerate.
Mr. Nkrumah, thank you very much. I'll allow you to see if you can go and be the peacemaker.
No, there's leadership. They will call the shots. The leadership will call
I'm
the
grateful
shots.
that you joined us.
Thank you very much, and wish you all the best. Happy Constitution Day to you.
Sure, absolutely. Let's listen to the sounds a bit of what is happening on the floor. So we're still watching this unfold in Parliament right now, this chaos over the seating arrangement. If you're just joining us and may not be watching, just get onto myjoyonline.com and watch this unfold there. What we are watching right now, if you're listening to us on Joy 99.7 FM, is the two sides haggling over the seat. There appears to be some commotion over the seating arrangement, which has caused this commotion. There are several members of Parliament trying to calm tensions. A lot of them are standing, and there's been a heated exchange over this for some time. You're not surprised that this is playing out?
Well, I am not surprised because if I look at the fact that the NDC comes in and sits at where the majority sits. But what is surprising to me is when the NPP says, we expected this, and so we wouldn't mind them. And you ask yourself the question, why would this happen? We do not know who started it, but you would expect that if the party leadership is speaking to its members, it would whip them in line and say, let us not do anything to mar the swearing-in ceremony of the president. Because once this happens, we would talk about it, it takes the news tomorrow. And so, for me, what is surprising is that even if, and I'm saying even if, I don't know who started it. We're here, we'll get further reports to know who started it. But whoever might have started it, the MPP should not have reacted this way based on what their leadership has been telling us, if that is actually what they agreed on. And if they've gone contrary to what leadership has talked about, and the voting booth is going to be there for members to vote secretly, could it be the case then that people would also go against what leadership has been trying to do all this
See what is unfolding now. This is ABF Hussaini now in a very heated, almost pushing. This is Brian Champon. This standoff, it was between ABF Hussaini and Brian Champon.
And I can also see Obiamu. I think that's
Obiamu trying to be a peacemaker.
Yes.
To settle this particular matter. It's almost getting to being pushed. People being pushed around. I see ABF Hussaini being walked away now from a possible confrontation that could degenerate even further on this. Now, as all this unfolds, I haven't seen the leadership. I haven't seen Chairman Sabonsu, because this is still the 7th Parliament.
Yes, I mean, technically it is, but you know, I also do think maybe I haven't seen Chairman Sabonsu, I haven't seen Harun Idrisu. Maybe they're trying to reach some consensus by now. I do not know.
Possible.
But you would expect them to be there. But even if they're there, and if other members can prove or can show that they'll be able to solve it. You saw Kennedy Japan trying to talk. I mean, he was talking to one of the NDs, John Jinapo. He talks to him and taps him a little bit and tells him relax and all of that. So if there are peacemakers within today's polling station of Parliament, I'm sure that, I mean, the leadership could.
I want us to hear John Sasiru Nketia. The thing people need to understand tonight is that the party leadership are in the House.
Yeah.
And right now Elting is with John Sasiru Nketia, the General Secretary of the NDC. Elting is with John Sasiru Nketia. Shortly, Elton is going to be. We're going to be hearing from Johnson Nketia, and they're here for a reason. The party has an interest in what is happening, and the party position really is what the members of Parliament must be enforcing on the floor. And so we are going to be. Elton is going to be interacting with Johnson Nketia and John Bodu both. Now,
2005, and you expect Alban Bagbin to go through and be elected as the Speaker for the 8th Parliament?
Sure, because we cannot have people carrying a speaker inside his car and outside his car anytime he's moving. We need a speaker who is active, who can do the job.
Unfortunately, the numbers may look a bit tricky in terms of getting your way through. 137 have one person in the middle. You still have the confidence that it will swing in your favor.
I'm happy that you are talking about one person in the middle, so that one person can vote either way. And the others, in fact, the 137, those who want to vote to take decisions that will serve the national interest will certainly not be voting along party lines. They will vote to choose somebody who can be the speaker. Because we cannot be carrying a speaker, or speaker cannot be moving with an ambulance. So we will certainly select Alban Bagbin. And clearly Alban Bagbin has the pedigree.
Sure.
I mean,
there's no doubt about his competence.
He's going to be a speaker who actually has learned how to become a speaker. He's been a member of parliament, the longest serving member of parliament in the country as we speak. And so I believe that members will look at the choice of a person who will serve the nation better. It is not going to be on a sentimental, partisan basis where they will take a decision which will lead Ghana into, practically hiring people to be carrying a speaker inside his car and outside his car.
General, just one quick one. I know that you've been in this house for long, but there's also an inauguration of a president-elect.
Yes.
Would the NDC
we are not here for the inauguration. Tomorrow, if there is an inauguration, come.
Sorry.
With Elting Brobe, and we will also be watching shortly an interview that Elting did. Elting is live with the MPP's General Secretary as well, who is also here. The entire party machinery is here in force for a particular reason, which is that you have to whip your members in line. To in essence carry out the instructions of the party, and they've met several times to agree on this. Kokudu talks about the caucus meetings. Now we are counting down now to midnight. We are some 25 minutes to midnight when the real action will begin. I'm looking forward to this. Now it's the reason why Joseph Nketia and John Bodu are in the house, and we expect that they will be in the chamber. possibly at the gallery, but they want to ensure that nothing goes to awry other than what they planned.
Exactly, and it is the reason why I am surprised it's going to be by secret balloting. I am sure finally, before the voting is done, members would have to indicate how they voted. I mean, I was talking about the 2005 example where you saw then, Majority Leader Felix Owusu-Ejapon standing by, the whips were also standing around making sure you had Osechi Mensah-Bonsu so at the time as the, Majority Chief Whip, making sure that the majority members at the time in casting their vote were doing so just how they wanted them to do it. And so I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen. I also am aware that, for instance, if you look at the times that Dan Butchie was General Secretary, and he's on record to have actually said, he said this on radio one time, that look, while he was General Secretary, any member of Parliament who went contrary to party decisions and voted against the party decision, he would make sure that your next primary becomes very difficult for you. And that is the reason why they're here. The General Secretaries are the administrative heads of the political parties. They want to ensure that the right things are done. They want to ensure that if for nothing at all, those who have pledged to a loyalty to the cause of the party would vote for the party, while they try also to flip some members from the other side. The NDC has indicated they're in talks with...
Go to, sorry, I'll come to you shortly. Let's go to John Boydu now, who is the General Secretary of the MPP.
For the good job they've done, and also welcoming the new Parliament early this morning.
Do you have the full complement of your members to take part in this very crucial meeting?
Yeah. All of them will be in.
And the instruction is that you go according to what the party has put before Parliament?
Obviously, we have propose our leadership, majority leadership. Honorable Chairman Mensah-Bonsu is continuing as the majority leader. Honorable Afenyo Markin is the deputy majority leader. Anodon Pre is the chief whip. The first deputy chief whip is Honorable Lydia Sarah Malasan, and the second deputy chief whip is Honorable Habib Idrisu, the Member of Parliament for Tolon. That is settled by the National Council of our party. For the speakership, we are proposing and have asked that Honorable Aaron Michael Okwe should be the one that our members should vote for. And this was overwhelmingly accepted by the entire membership of the party, the National Council, and the 137 plus the independent candidate, adding up to 138, that they will vote for him as the Speaker of Parliament for the 8th Parliament. Yeah.
Let me pick your brains on this. Is there an indication whom the party has settled on, for example, the role of First Deputy Speaker of Parliament?
Yes, we've also proposed Honorable Ose-Wusu, popularly called Joe Wise. The current First Deputy to continue as well. So immediately after we get the Speaker, we are proposing Honorable Joe Wise to be the First Deputy Speaker as well.
In 2005, when the NDC went in for Peter Alajete, the MPP then decided to punish them by nominating somebody for the role of Second Deputy Speaker. If the same thing play out in the chamber today, will the party go to a similar fashion?
I think that they will be wise up this time around. I don't think that there's a need for any mischief to be played, just as they tried doing in 2005. And we expect that the Ghanaian people have decided. They've decided clearly that they want Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to continue to run this country for the next 4 years. They've also said that they don't want an overwhelming majority in Parliament. They want a Parliament that will seek consensus and cooperation. And I believe that they will fall in line. If they refuse to do so, the worst will happen just as it happened in 2005.
And the only option for you will be the former MP. Is that what the party is working with?
There's no option apart from that. It's not just about the party, but there's no option apart from if they decide not to cooperate and collaborate with us, then the only option will be that the independent candidate becomes the second deputy speaker. But I hope they won't go to that line. They won't traverse the path they did in 2005. I hope they won't.
All right. General, let me ask this question. I've been speaking to some members of the NDC, and they've made it clear that they don't recognize the declaration of President Akufo-Addo as the president-elect as done by the Electoral Commission, and for that reason, they will not be part of the inauguration, which will come up pretty soon. Would that take anything away from what will happen?
I don't think that it lies in their mouth to determine who is the president of their country. It is the registered eligible voters of our country that decide who becomes the president for the next 4 years. And they've done that very clear. It is clear, over 500. Even Atamils was recognized as president of this country with just 3 times voting, just a margin of just about 40,000. Even he was regarded as president. Even John Mahama in 2012, with all the controversies that surrounded the elections. The difference between him and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo then was just under 200,000. So if you have somebody who the Ghanaian people, overwhelming Ghanaians, have decided 500,000 plus, it doesn't lie in the mouth of the NDC to determine who becomes the president. It is the people of this country who determines, and they've determined it, and they've said it loud and clear.
General, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the chamber very soon. General Secretary of the MPP, John Boadu, speaking to us. Let me bring in the Member of Parliament elect for Kankwe Central, Patrick Yabuama, who is also a Deputy Minister for Sanitation. Officially, you are still a Deputy Minister until maybe after the midnight of today. But your expectation?
Unfolded in the last few minutes as we count down. We are some 19 minutes to midnight when the real deal is and will unfold. I'm looking forward to it. But Elton has been digging into what happened on the floor a short while ago when there was chaos. As you see on the screens right now there, it's calm. But a short while ago, there was chaos where people were gesticulating, pushing each other on the floor. Elton, do we know what indeed happened? I know you are positioned at a place where you could tell us with some certainty what happened. What more are we learning about what caused this commotion?
What happened was that when Minister for Communications, Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, came in, she decided that she would go and sit at where she sat before Parliament was adjourned. That was around 4 p.m. today. And then, so she went straight to the right side of the Speaker where she sat before the House was adjourned. Now, remember that the right side of the Speaker has already been taken over by the NDC group going into the 8th Parliament. So when Ursula Owusu came in, went to that side, she took her seat. But then some NDC members wanted her out of that particular area because according to them, they are taking over that place. And so she should move to the left side of the Speaker. And this brought about some confusion because let me say that the Women Caucus on the MPP side decided to go to her aid. And that brought about the confusion and the singing and all that. As I speak to you right now, Ursula Owusu is still on the right side of the Speaker where we have an NDC-dominated MPs in the Chamber of Parliament. And she insists she will not move because according to her, until the 7th Parliament is dissolved, and then the presiding officer, in this case the Clerk of Parliament, comes in, and then there's order in the House, and then the sitting arrangement is realigned, she will continue to occupy her seat that she sat on before the adjournment of the House, and she will do so until there's clarity as to where the MPP or the NDC will sit in the 8th Parliament. So as I speak to you right now, Ursula Owusu is still on the right side of the Speaker's chair, dominated by NDC MPs going into the 8th Parliament. And so the confusion you saw on TV, this is what brought about it, Evans.
the NDC MPs, the newly elected MPs, they walked into the chamber very early. NDC was around MPs, 9 the newly elected MPs. They walked, the NPP MPs walked in, and when they walked in, they went straight to take the seats of the NPP, because remember that this is still the 7th Parliament. Now, Elting, that is what has happened and has caused a commotion. Now, you are very close to the action, obviously. Now, Esla makes a point, and Elting has long years of reporting in Parliament. Esla makes a point that we are still within the 7th Parliament, which hasn't expired, Elting. And so what Esla's point is, according to the Constitution, she still must sit in the majority side of the House, correct? That's what she's saying.
Until we reach midnight, she wants to consider herself still in the 7th Parliament. It will be only after the formal dissolution of Parliament, that will be at midnight, that she can say that she's moving into the 8th Parliament, a minute after midnight. And even that will be when the presiding officer, in this case, the Clerk of Parliament, will come in and then take members through the process for the election of the Speaker, and then there will be a formal swearing in. Now, a while ago, the Chief Justice also walked in. I don't know the role that he will play in this whole enterprise, but according to Esla also, before Parliament adjourned around 5 p.m. today, she moved from her seat on the right side of the Speaker. So when she came in this evening, she just went to that place. And for the NDC people who've dominated that particular area, they told her to move to the left side because that's where her people are. But she insisted on maintaining her seat, and she got support from the women on the MPP side. So that brought about some melee, but the matter has been resolved. But on record, I can tell you for a fact that Esla also is not moving. She's not going anywhere. For her, she will continue to remain in her seat. As far as the Constitution provision is concerned, she is still in the 7th Parliament. She will only do so if there is clarity provided by the Speaker in the 8th Parliament as to where each side will sit. Once that is done, nothing will move her out of that seat, which is in the side of the NDC for now. Nothing will move her out of that seat.
Will stay with us as we analyze this.
In the side of the NDC for now.
It's absolutely
critical. Nothing will move her out of that seat.
Will stay with us as we analyze. She says the life of this Parliament will only expire in under 15 minutes, which means, from Esla's point of view, that she's still in the majority, and where she's currently sitting is where she should sit. But we know that's not the case because the NDC guys have taken that particular place in anticipation of what is going to happen in the next few minutes when it strikes midnight.
Well, Evans, you know there are always dissenters in every institution. And so even though the NPP leadership had told all of us, you heard from them here, telling us that, well, they expected this to happen. They had picked intelligence. The NDC was going to do this to mar the beauty of the occasion. They were not going to mind them. And so they were, okay, they're going to sit at the left. We saw Dan Botche coming in and urging, the NPP members to not bother sit down on the left side of the Speaker. But you ask yourself the simple question. Now, if the leadership had spoken to all members, why would Ursula want to do that? You're saying you would wait for the Speaker to give clarity even after midnight. The question is, your caucus is now sitting on the left side of the Speaker. What prevents you from sitting on that left side? I mean, Evans, let me be very blunt here. If you ask me, I think that was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. Anything could have happened. And so far, until that time, everything was going on smoothly. We didn't want to take away. So that's laying your shot there. Yes. That's laying your shot there. And she's sitting beside Collins Dowda. This Collins Dowda. Yes. She's sitting beside Collins Dowda. Exactly. And so for the first time, she finds herself in the midst of NDC MPs. Yes. But you can also understand, you can also understand certain people. There are some people who also like the, I call it showmanship. They want to also prove that, I'm tough. I'm not going to allow them to bully us. And Esla has been that person who's forcefully, carried out all her actions. And so you don't you know, you shouldn't be surprised when you see Lausu Ekufu doing this. But if you ask me, I tell you, to in all sincerity, this is unnecessary. We don't want to take the bad shine away from the U.S., okay? Let's continue with the swearing in. We'll go through the voting. Everything will go on nicely. And if Alban Bagbin becomes Speaker of Parliament, so be it. If Michael Quay becomes Speaker of Parliament, so be it. But this is, this was unnecessary.
I mean, Elton, so with us. Elton, let me bring you back in. You mentioned earlier that you've seen the Chief Justice in the House. Now, in the next 10 minutes or so, when it's midnight, a few things will happen. One of the things that will happen will require the Chief Justice presence. The Chief Justice, according to the Constitution, will have to swear in the Speaker once elected. It is the Speaker who will then swear in the members of Parliament. Yes, Elton, that is why the Chief Justice is there. But you've been in the House for so long. You've witnessed what is about to happen in 10 minutes for so long. Walk us through. Let's have a conversation about what we expect to happen in 10 minutes. Now, 2 names are on the ballot, or we expect to be on the ballot. Professor Michael Quay and Alban Bagbin. Have you seen Professor Michael Quay or Alban Bagbin in the chamber yet, or anywhere around where you are? And Alban Bagbin. Have you seen Professor Michael Quay or Alban Bagbin in the
separate rooms awaiting formal nominations that will be put forward by members from both sides? Now, in the next few minutes to come, what we are positioned is where the Clerk of Parliament, together with members of the table office, will use to enter the main chamber of Parliament, and then they'll be followed by the Chief Justice. Now, when the Clerk of Parliament sits and then begin the process of presiding over the House, he's going to invite nominations from both sides, if there are any, for the position of the Speaker of Parliament. Now, as you may be aware, you already know that the MPP, they've nominated Professor Mike Aaron Okwei as the Speaker for the 8th Parliament. We also have a counter nomination from the NDC in the person of Alban Sumana Baben, the former Member of Parliament for Nandoli Kalio. So the Clerk of Parliament will preside, he will invite nominations, and then these nominations will be subjected to approval of the House. Now, because we know that there are 2 people who are competing for the same slot, it is going to go into a voting process. Now, there are 3 stages in terms of taking a decision on the floor of Parliament regarding to voting. There is the yes and no vote, otherwise known as the voice vote. And then if the voice vote is not accepted, we'll move to the second stage, which is the head count, where members of Parliament in favor of the motion will stand and to be counted. And then we'll move to another one. If that is also not successful, then we'll move to the third stage, which is the secret ballot, where the clerk at table will call members according to how they are arranged alphabetically, and then we will be given the nomination form, which will have the names of the 2 nominees, Professor Michael Quay and then Alban Bagbin. And then you vote, you go and drop it in a ballot box that will be provided by the clerk at table. And then when it is done, it will be open, it will be counted, we'll have representatives from both sides supervise the counting process, and after which the Clerk of Parliament will announce the eventual winner. When that is done, the Speaker, if we have a winner at the end of the day, the Speaker will be ushered into the chamber. That is where the Chief Justice will swear the person in, and he will in turn swear in members of Parliament. So this is how the process is going to be. It's supposed to be a very simple one. However, it is likely to get into a lot of confusion and counter, comments here and there because of the issues at stake. Because we have both parties, they have vested interest in who becomes the Speaker of this August House, and that is what we are all in for. Otherwise, if you want to go by the standard orders of Parliament, it is supposed to be a very smooth exercise, devoid of rancor and all the confusions that everybody wants to avoid. But that is exactly how things are going to play out in the Chamber of Parliament today, Evans.
To happen shortly with the 2 nominations in the House, and Elton will stay with us. Elton will join us again shortly as we get into the specifics of what is about to unfold. We are counting down now, Winston. We are 6 minutes to midnight. When the clock strikes midnight, as Elton has just explained, a lot will begin to unfold. All that will begin to unfold. The drama will begin to unfold. The key unknown still is what happens with the Asin North MP. Kojo confirmed to us a short while ago, Kojo Pronkoma Information Minister, that he spotted him in the house.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest questions that had emerged just around 6 p.m. when I was doing Newsnight was the court instructed that the ruling be served on the clerk. And because he cannot hold himself out as a speaker. The question, and Joseph Gakpo, our parliamentary correspondent, had gone to the clerk's office to check if indeed he had received it. And this must have been around 5:30. At that time, he says there was no confirmation that the clerk had received the ruling, the notification of this has happened. Now, between that time and now, there's a lot of time has passed, almost 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
And so we would expect to hear when the clerk takes the seat, because clerk will supervise the process of he will chair. Mm-hmm. He will have to announce if indeed he has been served. And if he has been served, and Kojo has said, and that's a procedure, when they are calling the names of the MPs elect to come forward and vote, if he's been served, he cannot call the name of the MP who has been asked by the court not to participate. That is going to be one of the most fascinating points of what is about to happen in 5 minutes onwards.
Exactly, and one of the things you'd expect also, if the clerk has been served, he may then go ahead and say, this is the ruling of the Cape Coast High Court, and thus this member of parliament, the member of parliament elect for Asin North, cannot be sworn in, cannot hold himself as MP, and thus cannot vote. I'm waiting to see if that happens, will be the reaction of the NDC.
Absolutely, yes.
Would they decide to go on and vote, or would they then say, we are not going to take part in all of this?
I am absolutely certain they will not say, I'm going to go to take part, because if they don't take part, the MPP gets your way, clearly. Now, the only thing that you could use and say if they don't vote, because the standing orders says there must be a quorum when Parliament sits for the first time to transact the business of electing a speaker. The question is, without the NDC, will there be a quorum? Yes, because the quorum is just, it'll come down to about 90 members of Parliament, right? And the MPP by themselves, their numbers, can't form a quorum. So if they decide to say, they're boycotting, they're playing to the hands of the MPP.
Well, but you see,
so I doubt if that will happen.
That's also part of the options available to them. The reason why I say this is that, look, Evans, there are times when you do things to actually draw attention to your dissatisfaction with a particular process. So could this be the way the NDC says we're unhappy and we believe that this is a calculated attempt by the executive to use the judiciary to influence the legislature? If they do that, that becomes the talking point. Yes, they may have lost the speakership, but that becomes the talking point. And once it becomes the talking point, it serves the interest of whichever party does that, because then you're drawing attention to what you want all of us to talk about. You want us to talk about the fact that you believe the executive is using the judiciary to influence the legislature, hence a decision to resort to the courts to have one person disqualified. Not disqualified, injuncted. I do know also that, but for the elapsing of the injunction on John Peter Mewu and the subsequent ruling by the Supreme Court, that could have also affected him. But that's what I want to see. I want to see the reaction of the NDC should the Clerk of Parliament say, I have received the ruling of the Cape Coast High Court that injuncts the Member of Parliament elect for Asin North, Jonas Quayson.
Well, listen, we are 2 minutes away now. 2 minutes away. Countdown clock is on. 2 minutes to midnight. At midnight, what will happen is the life of the 7th Parliament, which, is still in existence, will be snuffed out, will expire. And immediately that happens, the Clerk of Parliament will sit in the chair of the Speaker, because there's no Speaker. The life of the 8th Parliament would have been deemed to be in place. The decision, the first thing they'll have to do, because they can't do any other thing, is to elect a speaker. Now, pay attention to this. As of that moment, we only have members of parliament who have not been sworn in themselves. They are members of parliament elect. We are counting down to all this unfolding. Stay with us here on your lecture quarters because we're going to walk you through everything. Elton Brobe is with me. Winsing is with me. Now, the two names that have come up for election in the next few minutes, Professor Michael Quay and also Alban Babing will be on the ballot. We expect this to happen. Now, Winston, let me bring you in here. There is a conversation that we need to have about these two gentlemen and their relationship with members of parliament over the last 4 years, and whether that will play into how many votes they get. We know the parties are whipping their members in line to vote en bloc, but as we know, this is going to be secret ballot, right? And so this is going to be key.
Yes, exactly.
It's going to be key.
And
Kojo was making the point about the relationship of Amababing with some of the members of parliament, but there's also a good point to make about the relationship between Professor Michael Quay and some of the NPP members,
exactly,
including the independent candidates.
Exactly, and let me mention names here because apart from the independent
so let me indicate, it's 12 now. It's 12 midnight.
So
it's 12 midnight.
So technically, it's gone now.
It's gone now. The life of the 7th Parliament has expired.
It's gone now. So we're waiting for the 8th Parliament to commence. But the Speaker Mike Oquay, former Speaker Mike Oquay, was actually the one who read the dismissal of the Fomena MP from Parliament. Now, you ask yourself that simple question, has he forgiven him? Well, he's indicated he's forgiving his party. Technically speaking, he doesn't have a party because he was sacked from the NPP and he cannot pretend to be joining a party. That would mean he should be vacating his seat if he does so in Parliament. And there's also, the Minister of State in charge of public procurement, Sarah Adwoa-Safo. Evans, you remember the famous Kennedy Japan statement that the Speaker contacted him to help his son unseat Adwoa-Safo.
Yeah.
And it was the only reason why Kennedy Japan decided to support Adwoa-Safo, because earlier he had decided to stay away from Dom Kwabenya parliamentary primaries. If you are a Sarah Adwoa-Safo, would you want to vote for Professor Aaron Mike Oquay, who, if he becomes Speaker, wields a lot of power, could eventually influence electorates in the Dom Kwabenya constituency, where he served as Member of Parliament for 2 terms, to vote against you should you decide to contest in the next parliamentary primaries? Those are the dynamics here. I've just mentioned 2 names.
Now, so those are the 2 names. But then also on the minority side, the Speaker got into a lot of fight in the last 4 years. With members of the minority side. I want to dig into the archives a bit and bring you one of the moments when the Speaker got into a heated fight with the minority side, and this got really heated, and that it tells you the sort of animosity that has existed between the Speaker and the minority side. In this particular instance, Haruna Drusu got up to be noticed. The Speaker did not notice him. Haruna stood for a while, and then it degenerated into a heated exchange. I wanted you to watch this unfold now in the last 4 years. This is the incident I'm talking about.
You can watch it, transfer no sit. So when you move, when you ask after motion 13, when you move to motion 14, then I stood up. Mr. Speaker, the word before, it is for your interpretation, not change. Before a member moves a motion, not chairman Sabusu. The word before is to be interpreted by you. Before the person moves the motion for 3rd reading. So, Mr. Speaker, it is because at that point, I don't know what was in your mind about the minority that you didn't want to hear it. That can only be the reason.
Minority Chief Whip, are you opposed to...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Okay, we'll come back to this play out because this is going to be key. It tells you the sort of friction that has existed between the minority leader and Professor Michael Quay, right? and this might play out in the voting also. And Wingsing had talked about what might play out because of the relationship Michael Quay had, some of the tense relationship with some of the MPs themselves, and whether that will play out in, for example, the outcome of the vote that we see. But the procession into the 8th Parliament, we understand it's about to begin, and we are going to be giving you live feed of that right now very shortly, where we are expecting the Clerk of Parliament to enter into the chamber with the staff that represents Parliament. Normally that staff would have been wielded by the Speaker, but the Clerk, remember, is the one that will be acting as the Speaker until an election is done. We're going to be taking you live into the chamber and bring you a live feed of this, because remember that we are almost 5 minutes into the life of the 8th Parliament, which must last for the next 4 years. And this 8th Parliament is about to begin. A lot of action. We have, again, this is a big moment. We have been anticipating, looking forward to the 8th Parliament since after December 7th.
Exactly.
We are about to see it all unfold right now.
Well, we're certainly about to see everything that we had all waited for right after election 2020.
Yeah. I mean, so this is interesting. We are waiting to see this unfold. Elton Broby will join us with that shortly. We'll take you into the chamber again shortly on this very important matter. But remember, our coverage is brought to you by Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity. It's always a delightful experience. Cowbell Coffee, taste it, love it. Magdan Shipping and Logistics Limited, your total logistics partner. Pad Ever Limited, your home of modern furniture. DBS Roofing, we truly are your roof experts. Festival, Arling Flavors Your Life. Watriya Lotteries. Also, HEPA Plus Mixture for your general well-being. Elting tells me we can go live now and take that feed of the procession into Parliament, which is happening. Yes, Elting. Talk to me, Elting.
Clerk come through the clerk's office, and he's been led into the chamber by personnel of the clerks at table. These are deputy clerks of Parliament in various divisions of Parliament, and they have their robe on, and they have their staff. Because the Speaker is not in session, we will not have the parliamentary maze in place. It will only come in place when the Speaker is duly elected and in the chair. So what you are seeing right in front of us, you see all the parliamentary staff on their feet, meaning that there's a new dawn. History is about to unfold, and members of the 8th Parliament are just in readiness to take their seat. The procession is just about to start. And this time around, it is the Clerk of Parliament who will preside over the meeting to usher in the 8th Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. So, all right. So.